Hello there, this is the World News at 12 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent, and here are the top stories. Explosion rocks major pipeline in River State amidst militant threats. House of Reps members donate 705 million naira from their salaries to President Tinubu. Boko Haram terrorists invade Yobe communities, warn residents to relocate within 7 days, and at least 330 killed as Israel launches extensive strikes on Gaza. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The World News at 12 begins on the foreign scene, where Israeli military says it is carrying out extensive strikes in the Gaza Strip, with the Hamas-run health ministry reporting that at least 330 Palestinians have been killed. The Israeli Defense Forces IDF said it was targeting what it called terror targets belonging to Hamas. Mahmoud Abu Wafa, the Deputy Interior Minister in Gaza and the highest-ranking Hamas security officer in the territory, has reportedly been killed in a strike. This is the largest wave of airstrikes in Gaza since the ceasefire began on January 19. Talks to extend the Gaza ceasefire have failed to reach an agreement. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Israel Katz ordered the strikes on Tuesday morning, according to a statement from the Prime Minister's office. Back home in Nigeria, an explosion has rocked a major oil pipeline, the Trans-Niger Pipeline, TNP, at Bodo Gokana local government area of River State. Although the incident occurred on Monday night, the affected section of the major pipeline was on fire this morning. Thick black smoke was seen billowing into the atmosphere, with the raging fire spreading fast into the mangrove from a video that emerged this morning. Authorities are yet to determine whether the incident resulted from human interference, especially amid recent threats by militant groups to attack oil installations in response to the federal government's withholding of River State monthly allocations due to the ongoing political crisis in the state. The TNP is a federal transport line that supplies oil to the Bonny Export Terminal in River State. The River State Police Command spokesperson Grace Iringe Koko says she does not have the full details of the incident yet. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt has fixed April 16 for its ruling on an application seeking the sack of 27 lawmakers of the Rivers House of Assembly over their defection. The 27 lawmakers, led by the Speaker, Martin Amewule, are loyal to FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. The Labour Party, which filed the suit, had prayed the court to declare the seats of the lawmakers vacant for defecting from the PDP to the APC. Following a peace deal brokered by President Bola Tinubu, Governor Sim Fubara had applied to withdraw the initial suit filed in the Supreme Court, seeking the sack of the lawmakers for the defection. The Supreme Court in February dismissed the suit after Governor Fubara's legal team, led by Yusuf Ali, a senior advocate of Nigeria, withdrew the appeal. During a hearing at the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt on Monday, counsel to the defendant, that is the 27 lawmakers, asked the court to strike out the matter, citing a recent Supreme Court judgment which dismissed the matter. The lawyer, presenting the certified true copy of the court ruling, argued that the Supreme Court had restored the Amewule-led leadership of the Assembly. He claimed that Governor Fubara, who initially raised allegations of defection, had withdrawn the claims at the Federal High Court in Abuja. However, in his submission, counsel to the Labour Party Clifford Chukwu argued that the defection of the lawmakers was a collateral matter before the Supreme Court. The House of Representatives has donated 705 million naira to President Bola Tinubu. Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin, presented the check on behalf of the federal lawmakers. The donation was made on Monday when President Tinubu hosted the leadership and members of the House of Representatives to iftar at the presidential villa in Abuja. According to him, the money is a 6-month 50% deduction from their salaries to augment the humanitarian engagement of President Tinubu and to support vulnerable people in the country. The speaker thanked the president for the invitation to break fast with him and for always showing respect and concern for the House of Representatives. Let's take a listen to the speaker presenting the check to the president yesterday.
That we need to do something symbolic to show our concern to the entire people of Nigeria, that the predicament they were in, we also felt it. And because of that, we took a resolution that from July 2024 to December 2024, we will sacrifice 50% of our basic salaries, so that we will now set that money aside and contribute and donate to you so that you can also use it to look at the targeted areas in Nigeria where we have vulnerable people who are in need of food, shelter, accommodation, clothing, and what have you. We leave it to you to decide on where you want to intervene. But it is a symbolic contribution from the House to show you, as well as show the whole entire nation, that the passage of that particular period was being felt by each and every one of us. And in that regard, Your Excellency, I'm happy to inform you that the House contributed the sum of 705 million naira, being 50% of our monthly salary for a period of 6 months.
In a recent development, the Boko Haram Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP terrorists have given a quick notice to residents of some communities in Gujbar local government area of Yobe State. The terrorists reportedly ordered the residents to vacate the community for allegedly revealing their movement to security agencies. VP News gathered that some of the residents have started fleeing their homes in droves as the deadline nears. Since the death of JAS leader Abubakar Shekau, ISWAP has been consolidating its grip in locations around Lake Chad. The sect's membership has swollen with the defection of hundreds of Boko Haram fighters under Shekau. The Nigerian army has repeatedly claimed that insurgency had been largely defeated. The terror group has caused over 100,000 deaths and displaced millions of people, mainly in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states. An airstrike by the Nigerian Air Force aircraft has destroyed one of Boko Haram's hideouts within the treacherous Mandara mountain in Borno state. The strike was conducted against the terrorists were in Chikide and Degbewa on March 16. Deputy Director of Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabiru Ali, disclosed this in a statement today. According to him, the strikes delivered a crippling blow to the terrorist stronghold and disrupted their activities. He also noted that the coordinated firepower extensively destroyed the terrorist logistics and command center, igniting large fires that obliterated multiple structures and eliminated scores of terrorists in their hideouts. You are currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll now head into the news analysis segment, and to discuss issues on the World News at 12 this afternoon, I have veteran journalist, political, social and national affairs analyst, Mr. Peter Anosike. Always a pleasure to have you here. Good afternoon and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Anarchy may be looming, anarchy and chaos may be looming in Rivers State with these blowing up of the pipeline. Well, that's the explosion of the pipeline, which up until now, right before I came on air, I kept trying to reach out to certain people to know if this was an act of sabotage or this is something that happens. Because, of course, this is oil. It is something that is very flammable. So any little spark can cause a fire. But we know that the militants, some people have been threatening to return to the forest, to return to kidnapping, to return to bombing of oil pipelines if Governor Fubara is impeached. Just yesterday, impeachment proceedings were instituted against him. And that same yesterday night, a pipeline exploded. Would it be wrong to say the witch cried last night and the baby died this morning? Would it be wrong to blame the witch for the death of the baby?
Well, for me, nobody at this point in time can say what really happened. It could be an accident. It could be an accident, or it could be a sign of protest. I would not want to use that word, sabotage. It could be an accident, or it could be a sign of protest, because what Nyesom Wike is doing in Rivers State is not good at all. Wike is behind what is happening in Rivers State, and he has been boasting of committing mayhem. And the truth is that nobody has a monopoly of mayhem. When you push a man to the wall, he will bounce back. And Wike is trying to push the just to the wall. And for me, he doesn't have either that he doesn't have a sense of history, or he just stupidly ignoring history. because everybody who is of age in Nigeria should know what happened between 2006 and 2007. And that is what Wike is intentionally working to bring back to the country, and the president is watching him with his arms folded. Everybody know that if Fubara is impeached, there will be consequences, which will not just affect River State alone, it's going to affect the whole country.
That's what we're asking right now. Could this be part of the consequences? Because a resident of the community who spoke to journalists said the blast took place on an onshore pipeline near the starting point of the Bodo-Boni Road. He also suggested that it was likely an act of sabotage. He's a member of the community who might have been hearing undertones of what could happen if that impeachment proceeding was instituted. And the lawmakers did go ahead to institute that impeachment proceedings yesterday. So could it be that these people just did not want to wait, and that fire has been burning since last night, could impact major oil pipelines in River State that are supplying oil to various areas in the country?
I say for now, I don't like speaking on speculation. I don't know whether it is accident or a sign of protest. That's why I prefer using that word protest to sabotage. I prefer using a protest to sabotage, because when the pipes in Niger Delta begin to catch fire, what is happening is protest, it's not sabotage. We should get this at the back of our head. They are protesting the state, not sabotage.
You talk about the president folding his hands and allowing Wike do whatever he wants and cause problems in River State. Is this enough to now make him act and call Wike to order? Because a lot of people, including political analysts like yourself, have been saying that the president focuses more on telling Fubara what to do than on cautioning Wike, who happens to be his own federal minister.
That's a fact. I've been calling that Tinubu should call Wike to order, that Wike should focus on his on the reward that he was given for rigging 2023 election in favor of APC. He should focus on FCT and leave River State alone. Because even up to yesterday, he's still giving conditions, he's still giving mandate to an executive governor of a state. If he's a governor, will he tolerate that thing? So for me, if rivers begin to burn, if Niger Delta begin that to burn, Nigerians should know who to hold responsible. Whoever is bombing, is breaking pipes, they are doing it as a sign of protest, not as a sign of sabotage. Because there's no way power will return to Obiakpo within just 2 years. Because what Wike wants to do is for the governor and the deputy to be impeached, so that Amawende will become the governor. Amawende is representing the Obiakpo constituency 1, where Nyesom Wike come from. Where on earth would that happen? Where on earth would that happen? It's unless they have accepted to be non-existent, understand, to be inconsequential. That is the only reason why River State would allow what Wike want to do to happen. So for me, if the pipelines was intentionally interfered by human beings, it is not a sign of sabotage, it's a sign of protest.
Which is why I'm asking the question, seeing that this can actually impact the economy of the country, would you expect the president to begin to actually call Wike to order? Since a lot of people have been saying he's the one behind this situation and also behind Fubara's impeachment. Yesterday, the River State House of Assembly, they highlighted, would I say, 19 scenes of Fubara and the ways in which he has breached the constitution or a constitutional requirement of a governor, which is why they even dragged his deputy into the situation, saying, all right, you people need to answer to this. The River State government are saying they've not seen any official communication, so it seems these people are actually communicating to each other via social media.
Currently under construction.
For me, I've been saying that Tinubu should call Wike to order. Tinubu should tell Wike to forget River State and focus on Abuja. But if he refuses to do this, well, he is harming himself, he's harming his government, he's harming the country. River State is the goose that is laying the golden egg. The economy of the country comes from the Niger Delta. You withhold their allocations and now giving it to people who are not contributing, and you want them not to fold their hands. So if they want peace, if they want progress, they should call Wike to order. They should tell Wike to focus on his job at FCT and leave Fubara to govern all the state. Whether by hook or by crook, he was declared governor of River State. He should be allowed to exercise that mandate till 2027.
While we're talking about this, yesterday, Federal High Court in Port Harcourt fixed April 16 for its ruling on an application seeking the sack of the 27 lawmakers of the River State House of Assembly over their defection. Now, this suit was actually filed by the Labour Party, which asked the court to declare the seat of Amewule and the other 26 lawmakers vacant because it's defected from the PDP to the APC. Now, you recall that the Supreme Court, while giving its judgment withholding the allocation of funds to the River State government, actually spoke on the defection of these 27 lawmakers, saying that there was no evidence to show that they defected. And also the APC came out to say, we don't have these people in our register. They don't attend our meetings, so we don't know them. We don't know them as members of the APC. They still belong to the PDP. Now, during the hearing at the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt yesterday, the counsel to the 27 lawmakers asked the court to strike out the matter that the Labour Party brought, saying that a recent Supreme Court judgment has dismissed the matter. But recall that that was not actually the crux of the case before the Supreme Court.
Well, the case said that the Supreme Court handled the issue of budget. Whether four-member committee is enough to be presented a budget. That was the case that Supreme Court entertained, and gave a judgment that it should be presented before a fully constituted house. Therefore, that Amawene and others should go back for the budget to be presented. But the truth is that I don't have confidence in the Nigerian judiciary. Even the National Union of Road Transport Workers are more transparent than our judicial system.
Are you saying that the Supreme Court was wrong to speak on the defection of that lawmakers and say that there is no evidence to show that they defected when the issue before them was a budget issue? Are you saying the Supreme Court is the reason for the problems that have been going on right now, where these lawmakers are saying that, oh, they have the right to actually sit because they have not defected, as the Supreme Court said?
I say a proper court, a proper, that's in quote, a proper court is not. It's not Father Christmas. A court doesn't give what is not asked for. A court does not give what is not asked for. If you ask A from a court, you must not get B. But in Nigeria judicial system, if you ask A, they'll give you B, C, D. That's why I say a proper court. So what they have done now is a kind of to stop any case that will be asking for their impeachment. I mean, for their
sacking due to the defection. Because the counsel to 27 lawmakers also said at the court yesterday that, well, Governor Fubara had withdrawn his claims of the defection of these lawmakers at the Federal High Court in Abuja. And that is the reason why the court should actually strike out the suit, because this one has been pending before the court, even before the other case got to the Supreme Court. That's why I'm asking, did the Supreme Court interfere in this particular case by speaking on the fact that, oh, there's no evidence to that they defected? Because those lawmakers have been hanging on that particular line that says there is no evidence to show.
LP filed a different petition from the one that Governor Fubara filed. It wasn't a joint petition. So let us wait to see what will come out of the court.
But with what the Supreme Court has said, can these high courts actually now say, okay, these people have defected, so they have lost their seats, since the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land?
Let us wait and see what the court will decide. But I have more faith in National Union of Road Transport Workers than I have in the Nigeria judiciary. I have more faith in the Arboros on Lagos Road than I have in the Nigerian judges.
You know, what you say about faith is the reason why I asked the question. If you would say that the Supreme Court can be blamed for the actions of these lawmakers ever since they saw that certified true copy of the judgment, even before the CTC came out, where they were giving Governor Fubara 48 hours to represent the budget, which he did not try to meet, but he later went to represent the budget and was locked out of the place where they were sitting. Right now, they have adjourned indefinitely.
On many occasions, Supreme Court has reversed their judgments. On many occasions, Supreme Court has admitted their errors. So these are human beings. They are not angels. They are not above mistakes. But their problem is they lack credibility. That's their main problem. They lack credibility. So saying would they revert, on many occasions, they have reverted their decision. They have admitted guilty. They have admitted errors. But these are pure-minded people. So for me, I don't want to preempt the court in Port Harcourt. Let us see what will come out of it. But I don't have any confidence in them.
As much as you don't have confidence in the courts, a lot of people from Rivers State and in other areas in the country are hoping that the explosion of this pipeline is not the beginning of more problems for the people of Rivers State. Would you expect Wike to stand down now that this has happened, whether it is an act of protest, as you have called it, or this was just a natural occurrence?
I say Tinubu,
because of the timing.
I say Tinubu should call Wike to order. I'm insisting that Tinubu should call Wike to order, because it is Tinubu that empowered him. It is because he has security and money. That's why he is terrorizing his own people. So River State people should shine their eyes and know who their problem is. They should know that Wike is their problem, and not Fubara. And those Amawende are just puppets dancing to Wike's tune. Because Wike has now become the Lord that's saying you must do this and that to avoid the impeachment. So River State people should know who their enemy is, and that their enemy is Nelson Wike, and that what they are suffering now is the atrocities, is the madness of Nelson Wike.
Nothing more, nothing less. I want to quickly talk about the House of Reps members donating 705 million naira from their salaries to President Bola Tinubu. Now, this was for their salaries for about 6 months between July and December 2024. 50% of each Reps member salary, they put it together and started to present it to the president. If you listen to the Speaker Tajudeen Abbas just before the presentation of that check to the president and the Vice President Kashim Shettima, he talked about how they're donating that money to the president so that he can use it in whatever capacity he deems fit to support his poverty alleviation scheme for Nigerians. And one would wonder why they had to, come together and donate this money to the president. He has access to the Federal Treasury and also to loans from international institutions. Some of these House of Reps members are representing constituencies and communities that have not seen light, good water, good health care, and a lot of basic amenities for many years now. And they didn't think about contributing 50% of their salaries to help their constituents, but to give to the president. Can we really say, yes, they are trying to support the president's efforts to help the country, or is this playing to the gallery? Is this sycophancy?
Well, they say that it is symbolic, but to me, it is act of foolishness. It is act of stupidity.
Please do not use curse words.
It is act of insensitivity on their own parts. It's just like a chairman of a local government saying, "Governor, I'm donating this money to you so you can solve the problem of my people." Why you are nearest to the people? Why you are nearest to the people? So you are giving somebody who is far away from the people. This so-called House of Reps members came from constituencies. They know the problems in their constituencies, and they are now giving money to Tinubu to come back and solve the problems in their. Is that not a madness?
Please do not use curse word.
I'm not using curse word. Understand me? They come from constituencies. Because even if Tinubu is to do what they say, that money is still going back to those constituencies, isn't it? Because that's where those poor people are. And you now, instead of attending to the people who voted you to represent them, you are now giving money that to somebody else to now come back and give to your National Assembly that I have respect for in this country since 1999 is that of Naba, when Naba was the speaker. That's an assemblage of matured, intelligent, responsible people who stands on their own, who hosts their own. For me, these are just puppets. These are just puppets, and it's only puppets that can do this kind of a thing. Donate half of your salary and give to the president to help the poor. While you are representing those poor people. While you are representing those poor people are in your constituency, and you are now donating half of your salary to somebody who is very far away from your constituency. So check if there's sense in that. So for me, I say that the 10th Assembly is the worst, and every day they are proving me right.
It's quite unfortunate because one would think that if they could actually come together and say, okay, we have a certain number of people in the House of Reps, let's gather our money for this month, half of our salaries for this month, let's give it to your constituency members so that you can do something great for them. Then next month they'll come and gather for another lawmaker as well. Then the third month they can come. If they do like that in 12 months, I believe they'll be able to impact on the lives of their constituency members, which is why I asked the question, is this sycophancy? Is this to show the president, oh, we stand with you, we are even willing to spend 50% of our salaries to make sure that we contribute to your poverty alleviation scheme in the country?
My concern is, do these people think at all that do they have sense? That's what impression are they giving to their wife, to their children when adults are misbehaving in public? When adults are misbehaving in public, I say, an instance, the local government is the nearest to the communities. So imagine a local government chairman now donating his salary to the governor to give to the poor, while you are supposed to be living with the poor.
So what do they aim to achieve by this?
For me, that is irritating. These are issues that boss me.
You know, some of these House of Reps members are representing constituencies or communities that have been ravaged, totally ravaged by so much insecurity, which is why I mentioned that the president has access to federal treasury, to loans from international institutions for several reasons, and these people still packed their money and took it to go and give him. Now, you must have heard when I read about Yobe State, where Boko Haram terrorists invaded some communities and gave the residents 7 days to relocate. This community probably has a member representing them at the House of Representatives.
They have all the states in the country, all the local governments in the country have people in the National Assembly. 369 of them. 369 of them. So this shows you how those representing you think. And that's why Nigeria can never move forward with this crop of people as representatives.
So with this and those who, the Nigerians who know their reps members, what can they do to actually express displeasure? That is, if there are certain Nigerians who are not actually happy about this. Because, you know, when I saw the report and I looked through it and I wondered, why donate money to the president? He literally controls everything in the country. What does he need your money for?
Well, for me, Nigeria, or the votes don't count and record don't work.
So these people are trying to secure their future.
Understand me? Votes don't count, record don't work. So assuming it is where vote counts, the people can say 2027 you are not going back. They can say 2027 for this shameless attitude, for this thoughtless attitude, 2027, you will not go back, or we are going to recall you. But none of this work in this country. Votes don't count, recall don't work. So everybody is stuck. Everybody is stuck. So it has become to your tent, all Nigerians.
Let's quickly talk about insecurity, as it happens to always be a part of the bulletin every single day. At what point is it going to end? The Nigerian army repeatedly claims, insurgency has been largely defeated. The Nigerian Air Force bombed social enclave of terrorists. We've been able to decimate them in this aspect. But yet, they are still brazen enough to go into communities and want the residents to relocate. That is, they go into the communities without any fear that they'll be apprehended by security operatives. They go in there, threaten the community members, and then leave. And then you have those people running away from their communities because of these threats of attacks, running away so that when these people come back to perpetrate evil or to cause bloodshed, they will not actually become victims of these terrorists.
So Nigerian people are between the devil and the deep blue sea. The issue now, are we to obey Nigerian military or are we to obey the terrorists? Every day you'll be hearing that they have killed 10,000 terrorists, 10,000 ISWAP, 10,000. I was asking myself, do they have a power of reincarnation? Because if what we have been hearing on air every day, we have them decimated, we have killed 1,000, tomorrow you see 5,000. So for me, the war against terror is being fought on the pages of the newspaper. Because if it's real, we have forgotten all about ISWAP and Boko Haram as we speak. But it simply shows what is happening is the war is being carried on the pages of the newspaper, because every day you hear them terrorizing Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Yobe, Borno, and so on and so forth. So we are not getting the real news of what is happening, and I thank God for social media. If not, the darkness that would not have been hearing anything. If not for social media, they would have been fooling us from morning till evening.
You know, the residents are complaining that not only are their lives in danger, they don't have money to travel, let alone rent a home if they leave their communities, as many people are in abject poverty and they truly need help. Other residents also confirmed it, saying yes, the terrorists did come. That's exactly what's been happening, and they've been trying to find a way out. So we have so many people becoming internally displaced, even within their own communities.
Because there are forces that are in the country, and some people are protecting them, are covering them for their own selfish interest. Because if there's a willingness to fight insecurity, we have defeated them more than 10 years ago. But it is benefiting some people. It is benefiting some people, and that's why they are still there and causing mayhem.
It is quite unfortunate, but we will continue to hold the government accountable until these incidences of insecurity is totally nipped in the bud. Thank you so much for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon, Mr. Peter Anaske.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. You have been listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that an explosion has rocked a major pipeline in Rivers State amidst threats from militants. House of Reps members donate 705 million naira from their salaries to President Tinubu. Boko Haram terrorists invade Yobe communities, warn residents to relocate within 7 days, and at least 330 people killed as Israel launches extensive strikes on Gaza. That is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOPA903 FM for coverage of your live event and brand news mentions on our news bulletins. Do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.